Leviticus is a hard book to appreciate. Samuel Ballantyne, in his excellent commentary on Leviticus, says that Leviticus is the most neglected of the neglected biblical books. Many a good intention to read through the whole Bible from Genesis to Revelation founders on the shoals of Leviticus. And you can see why. Immediately upon opening the book, there's lots and lots and lots of arcane details about sacrifice. So the first 7 chapters, the whole 7 chapters of Leviticus, the first 7 chapters, are filled with these arcane details about how to sacrifice animals, what parts of the animals are to be burned, what parts are to be eaten or given to the priests, and how to offer grain offerings as well. Lots and lots of details that seem very strange to us. That's not to mention all the many chapters about skin disease and how to handle skin disease. So you can see why it's easy to call Leviticus the most neglected of the neglected biblical books. It is difficult to appreciate. But there is a depth here that is not immediately apparent. Now, the first thing to be noted, as Ballantyne says in his commentary, is that what carries the meaning in Leviticus is not narrative. Narrative or story is easier to appreciate. What carries the meaning in Leviticus is not narrative, but ritual. Ballantyne calls ritual social drama. So ritual is bodying forth reality. It's enacting it. You might even call it incarnational theology. It's incarnating theology, incarnating what one believes about God and about the world. It could even be compared, I suppose, to different learning styles. We, in our context, tend to be auditory and visual. Ritual has to do with all the senses, not just vision and hearing, but also smell and touch and even movement. It's not the most interesting reading, I have to admit that, like narrative, unless you're able to enter into the details and imagine what these rituals are saying. You have to understand, in other words, the belief or the worldview behind these rituals. Ballantyne explains this worldview, the priestly mindset. It's the priestly source, the priestly schools that wrote Leviticus. You have to understand 2 crucial beliefs behind these priestly rituals. The first belief is this, that God created the world with a good order. Think of Genesis 1. Genesis 1 is all about the creation of the world in 7 days, and the creation has a lot to do with separating things, separating the waters above the sky from the waters below the sky, or separating the sea from the dry land, separating the light from the darkness right at the beginning. Creation in Genesis 1 has to do with creating a right order so that chaos is kept at bay and so that life can flourish in that orderly world. And as long as that order is sustained, creation prospers and life prospers. It's the same thing in Leviticus. They're looking back to that understanding of creation, and they're saying that here now in this time and place at Mount Sinai in the wilderness, the Israelites, and particularly the priests, but really all of Israel, has to maintain that order as well. So the human ritual order mirrors or images the creational order that God puts into the whole world. And that ritual order allows a holy God to dwell with the people that are prone to sin and defilement. The tabernacle in Leviticus and in Exodus as well, the tabernacle is that sign and that place where God dwells with God's people. And sin defiles the tabernacle, sin defiles the land, sin defiles the whole people, and won't allow a holy God to dwell with the people of Israel. And so the rituals that are outlined in Leviticus allow that sin to be cleansed, that defilement to be cleansed, and allows a holy God to dwell with an unholy people. One of the key verses in Leviticus is Leviticus 10:10, where the priest is told to separate or to distinguish between the holy and the common, between the clean and the unclean. This word to separate or to distinguish is the same Hebrew word used in Genesis 1 to separate the light from the dark and the sea from the dry land. So the priest, in other words, is to act as God acts in the first days of creation to maintain order and to allow life to flourish. Israel is keeping or reenacting the order built into creation from the beginning to hold chaos at bay and to allow life to thrive. When Leviticus is read with this understanding of the priestly worldview, it can be read with more appreciation for the insights it contains.